morning. It's lovely to see you. And it's Thursday, which I'm starting to call Insight Thursday because that's just the best name I can think of for it. And, oh my God, I'm getting it fired and wired, guys and gals. I remember that Thursday is the day for notices. Oh my God. Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you jumping on. Yay, we're all together again. Farah, it's lovely to see you. Ariel, beautiful to see you too. Yay, here we all are together. It's so exciting when you jump on with me. You know, I don't have to have company. I remember when I started doing these lives about 3.5 years ago now, however long it was. See, I've lost track. And there was nobody there. And then one day I was excited when somebody came on. And then it was like, oh my God, there are 10 people. Hi, Paul. It's lovely to see you. And now, you know, I don't look at the numbers because it's not important. It's just lovely when you're here. So I'm going to remember to say notices because it's Thursday and I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to give you notices about what I'm doing or what's possible or whatever on Mondays and Thursdays. And this is the first time I've actually remembered to do it at the beginning. Mike, good morning. So the only notice I really have to share today is one that I have resisted sharing for a long time because I could never find a way to share it that I liked. And then it occurred to me in the holidays when I was kind of becoming somebody else that actually people might want to know. And it is that, you know, I do this and I know many of you find what I do useful and you change your lives and you tell me, which is awesome. And some of you might actually feel that you want to give something back. And if you do, that's possible. You know, you can go to my website and there's a page which is about free coaching, which is this, what I do, because I am a coach, among many other things. I do coaching, and if you would like to support me with a small monthly gift, equivalent to a cup of coffee a month or a week if you feel inspired, Mimi, good morning, then please do. Because I have a big dream and a big vision to realise, and it's not about me, it's about a lot of other people. And to do that, just like you, I need support. So there you go. That's my notice for today. There is stuff in the pot. There are things in the works, but I haven't got anything useful to tell you about it yet. So that's the notices for today. Thank you so much for showing up. Now I'm going to show you rocks because it is too windy outside. I hope you saw the picture from the top of the hill. It's quite beautiful. But we're inside with the rocks, and what we've got here is a piece of tourmaline. And it's black and it's shiny and it's irregular and it's gnarly and it's got a broken face. And then you can see this is the termination of the crystal. And I mean, just look at that, the different angles. You know, it's not just flat, it's kind of magical. And then this is really shiny and perfect and beautiful. Drew, it is lovely to see you. And, you know, I love this one. Tourmaline is actually, I don't know, it seems to be very conscious as a stone. If you meditate with rocks, they all have different vibrations. They are like people. I refuse to say, oh, this is the thing rock, which means it does thing. No, it's like saying all redheads do Irish dancing. I'm a redhead, I'm allowed to say that. I have never done Irish dancing. Right, enough on that. So a rock is just like a person. It has a consciousness. And if you tune in, you listen, you pay attention, you're going to figure out what that is over time. Now, this quartz, no surprise, but look at it. It's so gorgeous. It's got all these little... See, that one's growing through it and out the side. There's a little cluster growing on the outside of this one. It's actually got little rainbows in it, but I don't know if I can show them to you because the light's got to be in just the right place. Oh, maybe I can. Yeah, there you go. Can you see there's just a little bit of colour in there? It's kind of hard to catch it with the camera. But trust me, there are rainbows. There's a little bit of water inside this crystal. And when you have water inside a fracture, you get rainbows because the water breaks up the light and then you get colours. Last but not least, this is also quartz. It is called Morion quartz because it is so black. You can see it's kind of like really dark smoky quartz. And, you know, first of all, it does remind one of a cityscape. Somewhere in Dubai, you know, isn't that fabulous? And look, there's this beautiful little bridge and this very smooth surface of this. This is the big crystal, right? It was a big one, which you can see broke. But look, you can see inside it. and it was kind of a double jobby. So it's fabulous, and it goes in this colour when there's radiation, when the crystal is growing. So I love this one. I went to a crystal fair and I wasn't tempted to buy anything, but this one just sort of jumped up and down and said, buy me, because look at the bottom. You think, oh, that's kind of all gnarly and weird, but look closely, right? See this kind of rhomboid shape here? It's a bit hard to see in the light, but it's actually it goes into the stone, and all of these shapes do too. And what I realised when I looked at this, because it probably looks two-dimensional to you, but yeah, maybe you can see it's not, it's three-dimensional, is that this quartz grew on top of something that then dissolved out. So it's got all this fantasticness on the top, and then it's got this really interesting thing going on underneath. And it was calcite, because the imprints that have dissolved out of the stone are actually the shapes that calcite makes. So it's just so interesting. I love this thing. It's very delicate. It's beautiful. Everywhere you look at these tiny little bits. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time raving about the rock and my notices, but here we go. So, Insight Thursday, talking about me for a change, but always to be useful to you. And I decided I wanted to tell you some of the weird, wild, wonderful stuff that happens to me day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year in my meditations, and how it's changed me. So I'm going to start with some of the experiences that I've had, and these are recent, by the way. I've had many crazy experiences. I have had spontaneous healings, not huge, massive things like I have stage 4 cancer and that, like it's gone, but I've had autoimmunity go away, and I've had a really troublesome gene expression that was there. I sat down, I did a meditation. When I stood up, it was gone. And I knew, because I just knew, and then my body didn't need what it had needed before. Carmelina, it's great to see you. It's lovely to see everybody on. Welcome. So, that is said, and by the way, the meditation work that I do is the work that I have learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. There is no other meditation work like it. If you watch the 520 mumbled testimonials from people who have created healings and changes in their lives, doing this man's the work that this man has made available to people to do, what was I going to say? You will know that you keep here, like you go through it, and you time after time after time, the person said, I tried everything else. I did all this other stuff. I've done, whatever, including all kinds of spiritual practice, and, they make long lists, and nothing else worked. So, enough said. That's what I'm doing. Now, the most recent experience that I want to tell you about is only a couple of weeks back now. One of the things that I do now is a walking meditation. You don't just sit still to walk. You stand up, you lie down, and you walk. There's 4, and maybe the Buddhists work this out, right? There's 4 different ways that you can meditate. You start by sitting, but recently, over the holiday break, I've had time to start to get to know the walking meditations, and they've been a freaking revelation. Wow, is all I can say. It's amazing to take my seated practice out into the world, out into nature, meditate standing up with my eyes open, with my eyes closed, right? I mean, you got to have your eyes open to walk, right? But to walk in trance and to be walking as the new person that you want to be is just a whole evolution. It's amazing. So this particular time, a friend who lives in the States and I had decided to do a synchronous meditation at the same time. She meditates in the middle of the night, because that's just what works. And I went to the beach at 7 o'clock, which in Wellington is fine because it doesn't get dark until upstate, because it's about an hour and 15 minutes, this meditation. And off I go. And I was a little bit late, and I thought, I'm not going to stress about this. So, off I go, and it's beautiful, and there are seagulls wheeling, and there's just a nice breeze, and there's all these plants growing on the dunes where I walk, and there's people, and it's just lovely. It's really good. You stand, you elevate your emotions, which is something I've learned to do, and then you connect into the space around you, and then you open your eyes, you allow yourself to be in trance, and you walk as your future self. Whoa, it's so good. Did that. I got to move on, otherwise I'll never get through the story, right? It's so good. Get to the end of it. And normally when you're standing, you have your eyes shut, but the last piece, when the meditation is ending, you're standing with your eyes open. And there's this amazing music. It's just so perfect. And there was, like, it was sunset, right? It was close to sunset, a heavy bank of clouds, glow of the sun just coming under the clouds, no sun, just coming under the clouds. Calm, you know, it was just a breeze to ruffle the water, but nothing dramatic. And then the sun starts coming through the clouds. And it doesn't just come, I mean, orange rays, you know, and symmetrical, 2 perfect rays, one either side. And there's this family that comes down on my right-hand side, comes down, walks down to the water, mum, dad, brother, sister, 2 dogs on leads, enjoying, just being there, being happy. And it's so perfect. I just, you know, I could have died in that moment. It was so, I just melted. And there's a wind blowing the clouds, moves things along. Hi, Linda, lovely to see you on the bridge. And they shift, and then there's this little opening that appears in the heavy cloud bank, tiny little opening, and the white light of the sun comes blasting through it like a star. And at the same time, I can't remember if it was before or after, 3 perfect symmetrical rays. And remember, the clouds are moving, and they stay there. They just stay there in this perfectly symmetrical shape. And all the time I'm just feeling like so much love and so much, wow, Gaia, you're being synchronous with me. You know, it was incredible. And that's something now, it was such a beautiful memory. Really powerful emotions, really striking. My brain was paying attention and soaking it all in. And, you know, I can describe it to you, see? And I won't forget that. And I draw on that memory now when I want to bring up positive emotions. It was incredible, Farah. It was just... And if I'd been on time, I would have missed it. See? There was so much synchronicity. And I relaxed with it. I trusted it. And there I was, watching this unfold so perfectly at exactly the right time because I was late. Another meditation that I just did it this morning. Oh, my God. It's called Communion. And it's about wiring the heart and the brain together, literally, so that the energy of them is synchronized. The heart drives the brain into coherence. And all I can say, I don't lose my body entirely. Many people do eventually. It'll probably happen sooner or later. But it's like there's this kind of space opens up inside me that isn't my body. Isn't anything, and there's just this energy flow between here and here, and it just feels kind of like this big cylinder, except it's huge at the same time as it's inside me and outside of me all the time. You know, it's like inside and outside. Where are my boundaries? I don't have any. I'm the greater mind right now. I'm all it is. And the thing that I know is that there's communication between the heart and the brain. 95% goes this way and 5% goes that way. And I can actually feel it in the flow. There's a real neurological, energetic communication and connection going on. It's being measured. You can see it on a brain scan. And I'm feeling it. And it's so good. And I'm so in love with everything. Absolutely everything, because I am everything, and I'm so in love with me being everything. It's just amazing. It's the best I can describe it. You get to things that you can't explain. From time to time, if I wake up at night, Abigail, it's great to see you. I see stuff. You know, it's dark, eyes open, or eyes closed, doesn't matter. I see it. I know that it's in my visual cortex is firing and showing me stuff, and it's patterns. And I know when I see those, and they're not circular fractal patterns like a lot of people see. It's like a wallpaper. It's this field of energy, and they are patterns, and they repeat, and then they change, and they flicker, and they're alive, and there's a transmission, and I know that I'm going to be working with that transmission, that download that I've received while my brain's available and open to it. Vasco, good morning! And I'm going to be working with that for the next few days, and it comes again to me in my meditation, or I bring it back to me, and it changes me, right? And in my meditations, you know, I get hot, because the energy moves in my body. My body shakes and kicks and racks around the place, because it's like there's energy and it's trying to move through a pipe, and the pipe's got a kink in it, so it has to push its way through. It's so powerful, gets so hot, and then it goes away, and I get tingles and you get rushes of energy. It's very, very cool. Now I'm creating this myself. I do not take drugs, and there is no one else in the room, and I'm not even really in the room. What's happened is that in one way or another I've connected with the unified field, the source of loving intelligence, intelligent love that is available within us and all around us all the time, but we just got to know how to connect with it. So that's the kind of wild stuff that happens to me quite regularly. And never mind all the, the memories of who I am and the understandings of stuff as it clears. That's 5D. That's 5D. Where I am nobody, I am no one, I am no thing, nowhere, in no time, and then I become every time, every place, everything, every person, everybody. I become all of it. That's 5D. 0 point awareness. The source, whatever you want to call it. How this has changed me, I was speaking with a friend who's known me for a number of years and is familiar with this work too. And, she was, because I've been doing it now for almost 2 years. And she said, you've changed, order of magnitude. I am so different. And I was thinking, I made myself a little note so I wouldn't forget stuff. What's changed in that time? I'm happier. I'm not anxious in a way that I didn't even realize I was. I didn't know that I had sort of baseline low-level anxiety all the time. It was just normal. It was who I was. It was who I was. And it was normal. Oh my God, it was normal. We have these states of guilt and fear and anger and stuff, and we just think it's who we are. It's not. It's totally beyond what words can describe. You obviously know what I'm talking about, Farah. You totally know what I'm talking about. It is awesome existing outside of time, and we do all the time. We are outside of time all the time. We came in here to have an experience of time, because when you're oneness, you're oneness. You can't have contrast. It's not possible. So, let me not get distracted. Excuse me, itchy nose. So I'm happier. I have actually learned how to open my heart. I've got really good at it now. I can do this. I will get better at it. But I'm really being able now to, at will, at command, at choice, fall in love with something. My future, another person, someone I want to give energy to, whatever. And I can inhabit that state. I'm just better and better at it. I recognise people who know what I'm talking about, Sarah Farah. I really do. I congratulate you for doing the work to that point. It's worth it every time you sit down, stand up, walk, lie down, whatever. I do lots of meditation if I wake up at night. The only thing I want to do is create coherence, because then I know I'll go to sleep. Sometimes it takes 3 minutes, sometimes it takes an hour. That's how it is. Better than lying in bed being pissed off. The biggest change in me actually is that all the reasons why I started doing this work, abundance, health, for me those were the two big things. I'm still in the process of creating that stuff, but I've stopped looking for it. I have stopped looking for it. And by that I mean, even though I'm still creating abundance and I'm still creating physical health, there's a list on my website. If you want to go, epiphany.space/Maddie, there's a list on that page of all the things that have healed in my body. There's a long list. They're little things, but they're a long list. It adds up. So there's things that are changing, but I've stopped looking for it. There are things I still have, and I'm learning to just exist in the state of being where I know it's okay. I know it's okay. I know it's done. I know it's healed. And of course, when I do that, I'm giving my body that message. I walk around in the state of being of knowing that it's healed and trusting and relaxing and surrendering to the process. And sooner or later, my biology is going to catch up with the state I am being. So that's the biggest thing, is I have stopped needing to have money in the bank account or have more money in the bank account, because, oh my God, I'm so wealthy compared to many in the world. I've stopped needing to have more money in the bank account in order to feel abundant. I now feel abundant most of the time anyway. And when things come along, that a disappointment, something that was going to happen and doesn't, I don't stay there nearly so long, because I trust myself more and I trust the process of what I'm here doing a lot more than I used to. I know why I'm here, and I know what I'm here to do. I know the service I want to provide, and I know that means I get taken care of, period. And I am, really. I am. So I trust that a whole lot more. I have so many more synchronicities, things that just show up, and not just for me, but for my husband and for people I care about. Stuff just arrives. It's really awesome. And the best thing, others around me heal. You heal. You know how cool it is when you heal? And significant, my beloved, my husband, people I care about, people I work with, people who just hang out with me, mostly online because I don't get to see many people in person for various reasons, they heal. I've had the most wonderful co-collaborators turn up in my life to create this massive vision with me. They've got their own body of work. The two fit together like teaspoons. We know that we're working together and it's just so easy. And here's the really big thing that's landed this year. Completely out of the blue, even though it was right in front of me, I couldn't perceive it because of who I was being. I have so much more time freedom, which is the real reason I wanted money. Just to have time. And because I've been quietly training somebody else to take over a chunk of the work that I'm doing for my three-dimensional client that I need to look after as a contractor with a company that builds and maintains websites, suddenly I'm not beholden to be sitting in front of that email address all the time, and I have this freedom. Yesterday, Tuesday, whatever day it was, see, I've lost track of it, in the middle of the afternoon, I went and ran errands, and it was okay. And yesterday morning, I have the mornings off on Wednesdays now, and I took my camera that I thought I should sell because I wasn't interested in photography, but actually it was just that I had no time to do it. And I went for a stroll and I took pictures, and I was just sort of walking down the street crying because, oh my God, I've got time. I have freedom. And it came out of nowhere because suddenly things have lined up and this person is able to do this work mostly without me now. I still help, I still train, but wow, that's massive. I know the money's coming. I just don't feel the same fear and lack about it as I used to. And the biggest challenge you will face if you decide you want to do this, and many of you know what this is like, is making the time to do it and getting off your ass and doing it when you don't feel like it. And it just boils down to how much do you want this kind of experience for yourself. It's taken me 2 years to fire and wire it, make this, put the hardware in my head so that I can get good at doing this stuff. I didn't start off having these kinds of experiences. It's taken 2 years. Every single day I have not missed one. I have done days when I have done a lot more than one. Do I ever want to miss? No, I don't want the magic to stop, as the saying goes. This is what I've been doing for the rest of my life. Because I want to drink again from this amazing deeper well that is within me and all around me, and just waiting for me to access it. So this is what I wanted to share from my library files to yours, to inspire you that we are capable of this. And when you become what you desire, when you live like the person who is and has what you desire, it is going to find you. Just have to be willing to do it for as long as it takes. And meanwhile, while you're not waiting, you feel pretty fantastic anyway. It gets better and better and better. So, thank you for sharing with me. Big love. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.